Hello and welcome to the Christian Life Coach Podcast. I am Shanna Pizer, your Christian life coach. Today is episode 15, and the title is It's So Hard. Do it anyway. And throughout life, right? And especially when I spent time as a high school counselor, I would hear all the time, but Mrs. Pizer, it's so hard. I heard that, if not every day, 20 times a day. And I actually had a little sign made that says, I can do hard things. And I had it hanging up in my office. And when students said to me, but Mrs. Pizer, it's so hard, I would point to this sign. And typically they couldn't read it because it's in cursive, and it's a cursive lettered sign that says, I can do hard things. And I would have them read it out loud several times. And it kind of became one of my taglines. I can do hard things. We can do hard things. You can do hard things. And so, yeah, sometimes it's hard, right? And hard doesn't mean that it's bad. Hard can mean worth it. Hard can mean that there's something of value there that's worth working for. So we definitely, when we catch ourselves saying it's so hard, we really want to stop and look at that. Because a lot of times that we think it's so hard, so I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't keep going, because if I was doing it right, or if I was doing the right thing, it wouldn't be so hard. It should be easy. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'm not meant to do this. And what if it turns out you're not doing it wrong? It is hard. And in the doing the hard thing, you get stronger and you grow. Hard doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that you're doing something that matters and it's going to take effort. And that thing is worth the effort. And your growth, your development is worth the effort of doing the hard thing. A common saying is, it's easier said than done. And people will say that to me a lot. Well, that's easier said than done. And I heard somebody say this and I cracked up, and I use it because it's so true. Literally, anything that you say is easier said than done. And the example that I heard was, it is easier to say, pick up that penny from the ground, than it is to bend over, grab the penny with your pincher and thumb finger, and or your pincher fingers, whatever. It's harder to actually bend over and pick up the penny than it is to say, pick up the penny. So literally anything is easier said than done. So I don't even know why that's a saying, to be honest. So anything worth doing is probably, there's going to be a level of difficulty to it. And that is okay. It's just right, because you were created to do hard things. You were made in the image of God, and God is strong. He is creative. He put in the work to reap the benefits of creation, of dealing with creation. I mean, come on, let's be honest. You are equipped to do the hard things. And really, if you think about it, you do hard things every single day. You really do hard things every single day. Some days it's harder than others just to get out of bed. And, sometimes you wake up and you feel a little stiff, and it's hard to take those first couple of steps. but you don't just crawl back in bed and not get up because your joints are a little bit achy. You move around a little bit. And as you do that hard thing of pushing through that stiffness, your joints, your muscles start loosening up and it gets easier. And I just want to remind you that you actually do want to do hard things because that's where satisfaction comes from. We are satisfied when we have done something hard and we have completed it. That is where we get satisfaction from. And I think about, and I'm sure I've used the example before, but running. I'm not running currently. I am just not in that place. I would like to be. Maybe I will again. But I did not enjoy running, but I enjoyed having run. The actual running is hard. It's hard to moderate my breathing. It's hard to keep my legs going. It's hard to keep myself motivated to keep doing the running motion. And when I finish a run, I'm like, yes, I did that. And it feels so satisfying. And I feel so proud of myself and so accomplished of myself. And it's because I did the hard thing. And when we do hard things, it builds strength, it builds endurance, it builds confidence. Strength, just think of strength training when we are exercising. We build strength by picking up heavy things, by lifting heavy things, by doing squats. That's hard. And if you're doing it right, it's really hard because we want to lift heavy and do fewer reps, but it's heavy. It's hard to pick it up. And really, the strength is built through the tearing down of muscles. The muscles tear while we're building strength, and then they rebuild themselves into stronger muscles. So doing that hard thing makes us stronger. We build endurance by continuing on, by pressing on, by continuing to do the hard thing. And we find that we can do it more, we can do it more, we can do it more. And it gets a little bit easier. And then we probably up the level of resistance. And so it gets harder again before it gets easier. And we build endurance to keep going, to keep doing the hard thing, to press into it. And then we build confidence when we prove to ourselves that we can do the hard thing. I did that. I can do hard things. Turns out I do hard things all the time. And I think that a lot of times, especially as Christians, we will believe that we hear from God or we have this purpose that we're meant to fulfill or this mission that we are going to fulfill. And we're all gung ho. We're excited. We are prayed up. We determine the plan. We map out the steps and we feel really good about it. And then what happens? Obstacles start coming our way. Things start happening. And then we start questioning, was this really God? Am I really supposed to do this? Because this is really hard. And maybe I'm not supposed to do it. If it's this hard, maybe that's not what God was saying. And I just want to question that. Maybe God is saying, yeah, it's hard. Do it anyway. Keep going. And when we read in the Bible, any of the references and stories in the Bible, nothing was easy. God said, go do this. And it was hard. And they either kept doing it or they didn't. And I mean, just think of, for example, Joseph. Joseph experienced hard and he kept going, and God used it for a purpose. So I just want to encourage you to not use hard as a reason to give up, to stop. I mean, absolutely assess it. You want to make sure that you're aligned, but don't use hard as the criteria for whether God asked you to do something or not. Because chances are, if God asks you to do something, there's going to be some hard, there's going to be some difficulties. And Romans 5:3-4 says, we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, endurance produces character, and character produces hope. And I want to encourage you, choose your hard, because we're going to experience hard. Here's the irony. When you choose the easy thing in the moment, turns out life gets harder. When you choose the harder thing in the moment, turns out life gets easier. And an example of that is eating. If I choose easy now, I choose not to pay attention to my hunger signals. If I just give in to whatever it is that I want to eat and I'm like, forget about it. I take the easy route now and just do what I want to do in the moment. You gain weight over time. You lose health over time. You feel worse and worse. It's easier to give in to the easy thing, and then it's harder to make that change, to change your health, to decide that you really do want to eat healthy. Skipping workouts is easy. And then over time, after skipping workouts, when you get back into the workout, when you want to start working out again, it's harder to get back into it. Or you skip workouts altogether and you lose mobility, you lose flexibility, you lose strength. So things get harder long term. So if we decide, I am willing to put in the hard work now to experience health, strength, and it can be relationships, putting in the hard work now of having that hard conversation, of being vulnerable, that's hard. And the benefits of it are incredible. And one thing to be aware of, one aspect of hard in the moment versus easy in the moment, is thinking about, is this thing going to give me true pleasure, or is it going to give me false pleasure? So false pleasure is looking for something, like feeling like you need something and eating sugar when you're not hungry. That is an easy fix that brings very temporary pleasure, and if done repeatedly can lead to long-term discomfort. It's not true pleasure. True pleasure is going to be lasting. It's not something that you're going to regret. Scrolling can be false pleasure. True pleasure can be going for a walk, enjoying nature. You're not going to regret that. It's keeping promises to yourself. It's choosing internal peace over giving into the chaos. The false pleasures feel good in the moment, but they cost you later. And true pleasure can feel a little more difficult in the moment, but it is a blessing to your future. So I just want to encourage you, when you hear yourself say, this is hard, it's so hard, or any version of that, go ahead and agree with yourself. It's true. It's hard. Yes, it's hard. And I can do hard things. I do hard things. Yes, it's hard, and I can do it regardless. I can do it anyway. I don't want things to be easy. I want to grow stronger. So I just want to encourage you, hard is the path to growth, to strength, maturity, freedom, true satisfaction. Your choice isn't, do I want to do it the hard way or the easy way? Your choice is, do I want the hard now, or do I want the hard later? You can do hard things because God made you for this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. All things are possible for those who believe, who are called according to his purpose. Thank you so much for being here. I would love to hear from you. Please like, follow, subscribe, rate, review, all those things. Share this with your friends. Follow me on all the socials at Coach Shanna P and also at the Christian Life Coach Podcast. I would love to hear from you. And remember, life coaching is life changing, one renewed thought at a time.